The stars shone brightly in the endless darkness of space. Among them, the Xylarian survey ship Kaloth glided silently, its hull reflecting distant lights like a jewel in the void. On board, a group of tall, silver-skinned aliens worked with precise movements, their multiple eyes scanning data screens and communication panels. The ship's captain, Zir, leaned over a console, frowning. "I am receiving a distress signal," he said. His voice was calm but carried a hint of curiosity. "It is unusual." The crew crowded around the console. The signal was faint but clear enough to transmit a message. It came from a planet marked on galactic maps as Zethira 9, a planet notorious for its harsh environment and deadly wildlife. The planet was labeled a death world. Most intelligent species avoided it. No civilization was supposed to survive there. "Humans," muttered Lyra, the ship's communications officer, scrolling through the ship's records. "Reports indicate small, primitive beings. Their technology is basic. They are fragile compared to us." Zir's eyes narrowed. "Fragile or not, someone is sending an SOS. They are calling for help. We will investigate." The aliens had encountered weak species before. Usually, a simple rescue mission involved landing, collecting the survivors, and leaving. But something about this signal was different. It carried urgency, yet it also seemed oddly confident. Within hours, the cloth approached Zethira 9. From orbit, the planet looked almost peaceful. Thick green forest covered jagged mountains and rivers sparkled in the sunlight. But sensors told a different story. Violent storms, toxic gases, and predators capable of killing in minutes. Most life forms would not survive even a day. "Prepare the landing teams," Zir ordered. "This should be simple." "Weaklings always are," Lyra paused. "Captain, do you think they might fight back?" Zir smirked. "Fight back? Against us? Impossible. Their world is dangerous enough without us adding to it. We are the superior species. They will need our help, and they will accept it." The landing teams descended in sleek pods cutting through the planet's thick atmosphere. Outside, the world revealed its fury. Lightning flashed across stormy skies, rivers surged over rocks, and massive beasts roared in distant valleys. Yet the humans were there, visible on the surface, moving with careful precision. Zir frowned. They were not running. They were not panicked. Instead, the humans worked together, setting up fortifications and signaling devices. Even from orbit, their organization was apparent. "Strange," muttered one of the crew. "They seem prepared." When the pods touched down, the humans did not flee. They approached slowly, hands raised in what appeared to be a gesture of peace. But their eyes were sharp, observing every movement of the aliens. The lead human, a tall figure with dark hair and bright eyes, stepped forward. "We received your signal," he said in a calm, clear voice. "Are you here to help or to take advantage?" The aliens paused. They had expected cries, fear, perhaps even begging, but this was different. These beings spoke as equals, or at least with the confidence to demand clarity. Captain Zir extended a hand, as was customary for showing dominance and control. "We are here to rescue you. Your world is dangerous. You cannot survive here alone." The human studied the outstretched hand, then shook it firmly. "We have survived this world for generations. We are not helpless, but we will hear your terms." The crew exchanged glances. Surprise rippled through them. The human's confidence was unusual. Most species sent an SOS only in desperation, trembling and frightened. These humans, they were cautious but not afraid. One of the younger aliens whispered, "Captain, they are analyzing us." Zir ignored the warning. "You will come with us. We will provide safety, food, shelter. You cannot survive here on your own." The human leader tilted his head slightly. "Safety is relative. We have our ways of surviving. But we are willing to discuss cooperation." A tense silence fell. Then from the nearby forest sounds echoed. Deep, low growls and the snapping of branches. Massive predators prowled the edges of the clearing, their eyes gleaming in the dim light. The aliens tensed, ready to use their weapons. But the humans did not flinch. One of them, a young woman with short hair, lifted a hand and called out in a sharp tone. Immediately, a pack of dangerous beasts halted as if obeying some invisible command. They backed into the shadows, watching but not attacking. The aliens were stunned. They had assumed these creatures would overwhelm anyone without advanced weapons or armor, but the humans seemed to command respect from the planet itself. "Captain," Lyra whispered, "they are controlling the predators somehow." Jir gritted his teeth. This was unexpected. The humans were stronger, smarter, and more resourceful than any intelligence report had indicated. He had underestimated them. Why did you send the SOS? He asked aloud, forcing his voice to remain calm. The human leader smiled faintly. Because we need allies, not because we cannot survive. We face threats that even our skills cannot counter alone, but we choose who we trust. You are not yet proven. The aliens looked at each other uneasily. They had expected submission, but instead they faced caution, intelligence, and strategy. Every gesture, every word of the humans was measured. They were alive not because of luck, but because of skill, courage, and unity. Jir nodded slowly. We will assist, but you must follow our guidance. It is for your own good. The human leader's eyes glinted. We will accept help. On our terms. Otherwise, we will continue alone. That night, as the alien crew set up temporary shelters, the humans returned to their fortifications. Fires burned along the edges of cliffs. Signals flickered across the forest, and patrols moved silently through the darkness. Every step was calculated. Lyra watched them from the alien observation tower. They are not afraid, she whispered. They are masters of this world, Jir frowned. He had expected weakness. He had assumed that humans were fragile. But now he understood the truth. These beings had survived a planet that no one else could. They were not weak. They were warriors, hunters, thinkers, and survivors all in one. The aliens had come to rescue the helpless. Instead, they had arrived at the stronghold of a species that could challenge them, perhaps even teach them lessons in resilience and ingenuity. In the distance, the storm clouds rolled across jagged mountains, lightning illuminating the forest below. The humans moved as shadows, unseen but always watching, always ready. Jir turned to his crew. We must tread carefully. This was supposed to be an easy mission. It is no longer simple. These humans, they are something we did not expect. And somewhere in the forest, the human leader looked up at the alien ships with a calm but piercing gaze. The battle had not begun, not with weapons but with minds. They would see what the aliens truly underestimated, the cunning, courage, and adaptability of humans. The stars watched silently. And in the darkness of space, the Xylarian survey ship Kaloth had unknowingly entered the domain of a species that refused to be conquered. Humanity had survived the impossible. And now even the most advanced alien species would have to learn the same lesson. Never underestimate a DEATHWORLDer. The sun rose over Zithera 9, casting sharp golden light across jagged cliffs and thick forests. The air was crisp but carried a faint chemical tang from the planet's toxic flora. Birds with sharp talons darted through the skies, and massive herbivores grazed cautiously near the rivers. On the alien ship, the Kaloth, the crew prepared for the next phase of their mission. First contact on the ground. Captain Jir studied the scans of the humans' positions. They are not scattered, he said. They are organized. Every movement is deliberate. Lyra, the communications officer, nodded. They are skilled in strategy. Even their patrols are designed to mislead. They know we are observing. They want us to think we are in control. Jir's 3 sets of eyes narrowed. Then we will find out if they are truly as clever as they appear. The alien landing pods descended again, this time carrying teams with minimal weaponry. The plan was simple. Make contact, offer assistance, and establish trust. No one expected resistance. That was their mistake. The humans were waiting. They did not rush to meet the aliens, nor did they hide. From behind carefully placed barriers of stone and reinforced wood, they observed the alien pods as they landed. Every human moved with precise coordination, signaling silently to each other with small gestures and coded whistles. The lead human, the tall figure with dark hair, stepped forward again. You are back, he said calmly. Have you come to observe or to interfere? Jir raised a hand. We are here to ensure your safety. You face dangers you cannot control. Let us guide you. The human leader's eyes gleamed. We control our world. We know every river, every forest, every predator. Your technology cannot replace knowledge gained through survival. But we are willing to discuss terms of cooperation. The aliens exchanged uneasy glances. Cooperation had been expected, submission had not. Lyra whispered, Captain, they are testing us. Every word is calculated. Jir forced a calm voice. Then we will rise to the test. But remain cautious. They may appear calm, but they are unpredictable. The humans began showing the aliens their methods of survival. Small devices scattered across the terrain, some simple traps, others more intricate, all designed to monitor, deter, or manipulate the planet's dangerous wildlife. One trap snared a large predator, a beast nearly 3 meters tall, without harming it. The humans freed it moments later, and it retreated quietly into the forest. "Observe," the human leader said, pointing to another area. "Every predator has a role. Every resource is used wisely. Our survival depends not on weapons alone, but on understanding." The aliens watched, stunned. They had expected fear, chaos, or weakness. Instead, they saw discipline, intelligence, and adaptability. Every human knew their environment intimately, and every move they made reinforced their mastery over the death world. One of the alien team members, a young scout, whispered to Zir, "Captain, they are not only surviving, they are thriving. They could defeat us with strategy alone." Zir frowned but remained silent. His mind raced. They had planned for easy extraction, minimal effort, but now, even a small error could lead to disaster. The humans then invited the aliens to follow them into the forest. "See for yourselves," the leader said. "Our world is not a trap, it is a teacher. Only those who respect it can survive here." The alien teams hesitated but obeyed. The forest was thick with twisted trees, poisonous plants, and winding rivers. Yet every step revealed human ingenuity. Bridges made from reinforced vines spanned dangerous chasms. Alarms made from reflective metals warned of predators approaching. Even the air seemed to hum with careful observation, as if the humans had trained the world itself to respond to them. "Captain," Lyra said, "they are teaching us, but also showing us our limits. We cannot operate here as we do in space. The environment itself is against us." Shear nodded. "Then we adapt or fail. Keep your focus. Observe their methods and learn." As the group moved deeper into the forest, a sudden roar echoed. A massive predator, larger than anything seen before, lunged from the trees. The aliens tensed, ready to fire. But the humans did not move. Instead, a young woman with short hair stepped forward, extending her hand. A low, commanding sound left her throat almost a hum. The predator froze. Then, after a tense moment, it retreated into the shadows. The aliens were dumbfounded. Their weapons, advanced scanners, and experience with dangerous worlds had failed to anticipate this. Humans had command over the wild, not through fear, but through intelligence and control. One of the aliens whispered, "Captain, we have underestimated them. They are extraordinary." Shear remained silent, though his mind worked rapidly. If humans could control creatures of this size, anticipate the dangers of this world, and move with such precision, then any mission here required extreme caution. The humans led them to a settlement hidden among cliffs and forests. It was simple but effective. Shelters built from stone and wood reinforced with natural fibers, devices to purify water, and barriers designed to confuse or trap predators. Every structure reflected the humans' adaptability, resourcefulness, and teamwork. The alien crew walked through the settlement, observing quietly. Lyra whispered again. "Every detail, every design." They thought of contingencies we could never imagine. They are not just survivors, they are engineers, strategists, and leaders. The human leader smiled faintly. "We did not send the SOS because we were helpless. We sent it because we knew allies could help, but only if they respected our methods." Jir's mouth went dry. He realized the mission's purpose had changed. The humans did not need rescue in the conventional sense. They needed recognition, understanding, and respect. Any attempt to dominate or take control would fail spectacularly. The aliens were invited to sit around a fire with the humans. Discussions were long, detailed, and surprisingly open. The humans shared how they survived storms, predators, and poisonous plants. They explained how they used traps not only for protection, but for learning, observing patterns, and predicting dangers. A young human girl demonstrated a device that mimicked predator calls, using it to gather information about dangerous creatures without putting anyone in harm's way. The aliens watched in awe, realizing that humans had mastered both their environment and their intelligence. Jir finally spoke. "You are remarkable, far more capable than any report suggested. I misjudged your species," the human leader nodded. "Judgment should come from observation, not assumptions. Many believe this planet is a death world. We call it home." Night fell and the forest came alive with sounds. The aliens, unaccustomed to the planet's dangers, felt the constant tension humans lived with daily, yet the humans moved with calm confidence, every movement deliberate, every sense alert. They did not fear the world, they understood it, and that gave them unmatched power. As the aliens prepared to return to their ship, the human leader spoke again. You came to rescue the helpless. You found the strong. Remember this: intelligence, courage, and unity are weapons no species can ignore. Respect them or suffer consequences. Jir looked at his crew. For the first time, he felt the weight of underestimating a species. These humans were not just survivors. They were a challenge, a test, and perhaps a future ally that no alien could easily dominate. In the distance, lightning split the sky, illuminating the forests, rivers, and mountains. The humans disappeared into the shadows of their settlement, ready for whatever the world or the galaxy might throw at them next. The aliens returned to their pods in silence, each one thinking about the lessons of the day. They had assumed weakness, but they had found strength. They had assumed fear, but they had found calm determination. They had assumed fragility, but they had found ingenuity beyond imagination. Jir stared at the stars through the observation deck. This mission has changed, he said quietly. We are not rescuers here. We are students, and we must learn quickly, or be outmatched. Above the forests of Zithera 9, the humans rested, aware of the alien presence but undisturbed. They knew that the galaxy had underestimated them, as it always had. But that would not matter. They had survived impossible conditions before. They had mastered death worlds, and now, even the most advanced aliens would learn the same lesson. Humans were not to be underestimated. The stars burned silently, but the forest below hummed with life, intelligence, and quiet confidence. In the shadow of danger, humanity thrived, and the galaxy would soon understand the truth of the Deathworlders. The next day dawned over Zithera 9 with a sky painted in red and gold. The alien teams, still recovering from their surprise at the humans' skills, prepared to take stronger action. Captain Jir had called a meeting on the cloth, discussing strategies to rescue the humans. We cannot let pride or curiosity control our mission, Jir said, his voice firm. We must ensure the humans come with us. Their survival depends on us, even if they do not realize it yet. Lyra shook her head, her eyes wide. Captain, they are not helpless. They are far more capable than we anticipated. Any attempt to take control may provoke resistance. Jir's 3 sets of eyes narrowed. Then we adapt, carefully. We will demonstrate strength, but also intelligence. Observe and follow my lead. Underestimating them is not an option. The alien pods descended once more, this time armed with scanners, protective shields, and non-lethal containment equipment. They believed that humans would comply once the superior force arrived. But humans, as usual, were ready. The forest seemed quiet at first, but subtle signs of human planning were everywhere. Tripwires strung across narrow pathways, small reflective surfaces that distracted sensors, and strategically placed decoys that mimicked life forms. The aliens, confident in their technology, did not notice these at first. As the first pod landed, a young scout from the alien crew stepped out. Immediately, a human patrol emerged from the shadows. Instead of attacking, they moved with precision, guiding the aliens into a path designed by the humans. The humans had studied the alien movement patterns. Every step the aliens took was anticipated. From the safety of tree-covered cliffs, the humans observed carefully, ready to respond, but not recklessly. Captain, whispered Lyra, her voice tense. They are guiding us into something. I cannot predict what they plan. Jir clenched his jaw. Then we proceed with caution. Trust in our superiority, but remain alert. The aliens followed the path only to find a series of traps. None were deadly, but they were highly effective. Sensors triggered alarms, forcing the aliens to retreat temporarily. Nets dropped from above, requiring careful navigation to escape, and holographic illusions created the appearance of dozens of predators in the vicinity. The humans watched silently, their eyes sharp and calculating. They had prepared for this moment, not to harm the aliens, but to teach a lesson in humility. One of the alien crew members, panicking slightly, muttered, They are controlling the environment. This is impossible, a human voice floated from the trees. Impossible is only a word for those who do not try. The aliens froze. They realized that this was not a random defense, it was strategy, planning, and intelligence at work. Each trap, each illusion, each small obstacle was designed to test the aliens' perception and patience. Jir growled quietly. We will not be outsmarted by primitives. Move forward but carefully. Observe everything. As they progressed, the humans demonstrated even more ingenuity. A narrow ravine was crossed using a system of ropes, pulleys, and weighted platforms, allowing the aliens to pass safely, but only if they trusted the humans' design. Any wrong step could have resulted in serious injury. The aliens began to feel something they had rarely experienced, respect tinged with fear. They were no longer in control. The humans were guiding them, testing them, and proving that survival depended not on technology alone, but on knowledge, skill, and unity. At one point, a massive predator lunged from the forest, attracted by the alien presence. The aliens raised their shields, expecting a fight, but the humans did not retreat. Instead, a team of humans appeared, signaling the predator away with a series of sharp whistles and subtle gestures. The predator froze, then slunk back into the shadows. Captain, they are commanding the beasts, Lyra gasped. Jir's heart pounded. He had expected compliance, yet these humans were masters of their world, turning even deadly creatures into allies, or at least neutral participants. Finally, the humans led the aliens to their central stronghold, a hidden valley shielded by cliffs and thick foliage. The settlement was far larger than the aliens had anticipated, with shelters, observation towers, and defensive structures built into the natural terrain. Every detail reflected careful planning, teamwork, and understanding of the environment. The human leader stepped forward, hands raised in a gesture of calm. You came to rescue the helpless, he said. We are not helpless, but we are willing to cooperate. If you understand our ways, Jir took a deep breath. We understand that you are capable, perhaps more than we expected. But our purpose is to ensure your survival and safety. Let us work together. The humans nodded. We accept guidance but not control. We survive because we adapt. If you interfere recklessly, it will not end well. Tension hung in the air. The aliens had to recognize that any misstep could result in failure. Unlike any other species they had encountered, humans could think, plan, and anticipate outcomes with remarkable precision. Over the next hours, the humans led the aliens through demonstrations of survival techniques. They explained how they collected food from dangerous plants, purified water from toxic streams, and avoided predators using both traps and cunning. They also shared their history. Generations of humans had lived on death worlds, facing storms, earthquakes, and creatures no other species could endure. Every lesson emphasized adaptation, unity, and intelligence. The aliens began to take notes, both impressed and humbled. Lyra whispered to a fellow officer. They have survived what we thought impossible. They do not fight with weapons alone. They fight with knowledge. Jir remained silent, watching the humans closely. He had underestimated them once. He would not make the same mistake again. Suddenly, a disturbance arose in the distance. A massive predator, one of the deadliest on the planet, approached. It moved with silent grace, muscles rippling under thick scales. The aliens tensed, ready to act. The humans did not panic. The leader raised a hand, and a series of signals directed small human teams to strategic positions. With a combination of whistles, reflective devices, and subtle movements, they guided the predator away from the aliens. The alien scout muttered in awe. They control even the fiercest predators with strategy alone. The human leader smiled faintly. Survival is never about brute force alone. It is about understanding, planning, and unity. The predator respects skill, not strength alone. The aliens were forced to accept a truth they had never fully embraced. Humans were not primitive. They were survivors, thinkers, and warriors in their own right. And on this death world, intelligence and courage outweighed technology. Night fell and the forest hummed with life. The aliens camped under the trees, keeping a cautious eye on their surroundings. But they could not deny what they had learned. Humans had survived, thrived, and outsmarted the superior species in ways that no scanner or report could reveal. Yer looked at the humans across the clearing. We have underestimated you, but now we will learn, perhaps even work with you. The human leader nodded. Work with us and respect our methods. Interfere, and you will find Death Worlders are not as fragile as they appear. As the alien crews settled for the night, their minds raced with questions and admiration. They had come expecting submission. Instead, they had encountered intelligence, courage, and strategy. The humans of Zythera 9 were not victims. They were masters of survival, proving that even the harshest world could be conquered by skill, teamwork, and determination. Above the valley, the stars shone silently, witnessing a rare moment in the galaxy. The moment humans proved they were not to be underestimated. And in the shadows of the forest, the humans rested confident yet vigilant. They knew that challenges would come from the stars, but they also knew their greatest strength: adaptability, intelligence, and unity. The aliens, for all their technology and experience, had learned a lesson that day. The humans of Zythera 9 were more than survivors. They were a force the galaxy would have to respect. And the story of the DEATHWORLDers was only beginning. The night on Zythera 9 was alive with subtle sounds: the whisper of wind through twisted trees, the distant growl of predators, and the soft hum of alien machinery from the orbiting Koloth. The humans watched the ship silently, their eyes reflecting both caution and determination. They had learned much from the aliens, observed their technology, noted their weaknesses, and understood the patterns in their behavior. The human leader, standing on a cliff overlooking the alien vessel, spoke softly to his team. "We have survived storms, predators, and death worlds. Tonight we test the galaxy's assumption once more. The aliens came to control us, but we will show them intelligence surpasses technology." A group of humans, skilled in stealth and strategy, moved silently toward the landing pods. Their movements were careful, precise, and almost invisible to alien scanners. Every step had been planned, every possibility anticipated. Inside the ship, the aliens slept, unaware of the humans' approach. Confidence still filled the corridors, confidence that the humans were weak and dependent. But humans had observed them closely and now understood their systems. They knew the layout, the security measures, and even the habits of the crew. The first human reached the outer hull. Using a small handheld device, he bypassed the alien sensors, creating a temporary blind spot. Others followed, each moving like shadows across the ship's surface. The leader signaled and the team split into pairs, silently entering through maintenance hatches and ventilation shafts. The aliens' internal systems were complex, but the humans had already predicted where vulnerabilities existed. They navigated the narrow passages effortlessly, avoiding patrols and surveillance devices. Finally, the humans regrouped in the central control area. One of them tapped a panel, and a series of soft beeps indicated success. The aliens' security grid had been temporarily disabled. The humans had gained control without firing a weapon. In the main observation room, Zir awoke suddenly. "Scanners indicate an anomaly," he shouted. The crew rushed to their stations, but the humans had already anticipated their reactions. Small diversions had been planted: false alerts, sound echoes, and holographic decoys. Every crew member was drawn to the wrong section of the ship, leaving the central systems vulnerable. The human leader moved to the main console. "We do not come to harm," he said, his voice calm but firm. "We only wish to demonstrate that survival is not measured by weapons, but by strategy, intelligence, and unity." Zir and the remaining crew arrived, shocked to see humans at the heart of the ship. "Impossible!" he shouted. "How did you—" The human leader smiled. "We observed. We learned. And now we act. You assumed weakness. You assumed fear. You were wrong. The humans did not damage the ship. They moved with precision, disabling certain systems to prevent the aliens from reacting quickly, but leaving essential functions intact. Every action demonstrated skill, discipline, and a deep understanding of technology they had never used before." Zir clenched his fists. "You are more capable than I imagined. But why? Why risk this?" "Because," the human leader replied, "you must understand that strength is not only physical. Intelligence, courage, and planning are equally powerful. We survive because we use all three. The aliens were forced to reassess everything. These humans, the so-called DEATHWORLDers, had infiltrated their ship, bypassed security, and neutralized threats without weapons or violence. The aliens had underestimated them at every turn, and now they faced undeniable proof of human capability." Lyra whispered, "Captain, they outsmarted us, completely. Our technology did not save us. They used only skill and strategy." Zir's jaw tightened. Then we learn, we adapt. But we must remain calm. This is an opportunity, not a defeat. The humans led the aliens to the observation deck overlooking Zithera 9. "See your assumptions," the leader said. "This planet is deadly, but it is also a teacher. We survive not because we are stronger, but because we adapt. You may have technology, but we have unity, intelligence, and courage." Jir studied the humans carefully. "And if others come to threaten you?" The leader's eyes shone. "We will meet them as we always have, prepared, adaptable, and united. Technology cannot replace survival instinct, nor can arrogance overcome skill." For the first time, Jir understood the depth of human resilience. These were not fragile creatures from a death world. They were masters of their environment, capable of outthinking even the most advanced species. Over the next hours, the humans allowed the aliens to observe their methods. They demonstrated ways to predict predator behavior, navigate deadly terrain, and conserve resources while maintaining efficiency. Every technique emphasized planning, intelligence, and teamwork. One of the humans demonstrated a system of alarms and decoys that could protect an entire settlement from multiple threats. Another showed how to use the terrain itself as a shield, turning mountains, rivers, and forests into natural defenses. The aliens watched in awe. For all their technology, for all their knowledge of the galaxy, they had never encountered a species so adept at surviving the impossible. Finally, the human leader spoke to the aliens as a group. "We do not reject assistance. We do not reject allies, but we will never surrender our methods, our decisions, or our spirit. Survival is not given. It is earned through intelligence, courage, and unity. Remember this lesson," Jir nodded slowly. He had come to the planet expecting to rescue the weak. Instead, he had encountered beings far beyond his expectations. They had proven that humans could not only survive impossible conditions, but also outthink those who considered themselves superior. As dawn approached over Zithera 9, the humans led the aliens back to the landing pods. No harm had been done. No violence had erupted. Yet the aliens were humbled, their confidence replaced by respect and a hint of fear. The human leader raised a hand in farewell. "We will work together if we choose to, but never forget this. Underestimating a Death Worlder is a mistake no species should repeat." Jir watched as the humans disappeared into the forest, their movements calm and assured. For the first time in his career, he realized that true strength is not measured by weapons or technology alone, but by courage, intelligence, and unity. The alien crew boarded the cloth in silence. Lyra spoke softly. "Captain, they are not just survivors. They are strategists, leaders, and warriors. They have changed everything we thought we knew." Jir remained silent for a moment, watching the human settlement shrink in the distance. Then he said quietly, "We underestimated them, but we will learn. And perhaps together we can face the galaxy not as conquerors, but as equals." The humans watched the alien ship ascend into orbit, their expressions calm but determined. They knew the galaxy would judge them based on appearances, but they also knew their true strength, adaptability, courage, and unity in the face of impossible odds. And somewhere in the stars, the galaxy would begin to understand that the Death Worlders were not to be underestimated, that humanity's intelligence and courage could outmatch even the most advanced species. Above the forests, the night sky sparkled with stars. Lightning flashed across the mountains, illuminating the hidden settlement. The humans returned to their routines, confident yet vigilant. They had survived impossible conditions before. They had faced death worlds and outsmarted would-be conquerors, and they would continue to thrive, no matter what the galaxy sent next. The aliens, humbled but enlightened, plotted their next steps. They had come to rescue. They had found strength. They had learned a valuable lesson. Humanity was a species to respect, to study, and perhaps even to admire. And the galaxy, vast and unyielding, had yet to see the full extent of what Death Worlders could do. The first light of dawn spilled across the jagged cliffs and dense forests of Zithera 9. The human settlement stirred to life, each person moving with quiet purpose. Patrols checked perimeter alarms, children helped carry water and supplies, and the leaders gathered to review plans. Even after their success against the aliens, vigilance was never relaxed. Survival on a death world demanded constant awareness. Above, the alien ship Kaloth remained in orbit, Captain Jur watched the planet below, reflecting on the lessons of the past days. He had expected fear and weakness. Instead, he had found intelligence, courage, and unity. Humans were not fragile. They were a species that could thrive where others would perish. Lyra, standing beside him, whispered, "Captain, they are remarkable. They outsmarted us, controlled predators, and even navigated our ship's systems. They are beyond our expectations," Jur nodded slowly. "And yet, they do not seek war. They seek understanding. Perhaps this is a chance for alliance rather than conflict." Meanwhile, on the surface, the human leader gathered his team. "The aliens have learned much, but we must show them the value of true cooperation," he said. "We survive because we adapt, because we think ahead, and because we trust each other. If we share knowledge, we gain allies, without surrendering our freedom." A group of humans moved through the forest carrying small devices and tools. Their goal was not attack, but demonstration, to teach the aliens the ways of the DEATHWORLDers, to show that survival was about intelligence and strategy, not force alone. When the aliens landed again to meet the humans, they were met with calm, organized displays of skill. Humans guided them through complex survival exercises, navigating poisonous swamps without harm, reading predator movements, and using the environment as both shield and advantage. Jir observed, amazed. These beings, their strength is not physical alone. It is mental, strategic, and communal. Every action is coordinated, every decision calculated. The human leader smiled faintly. Strength is more than weapons. Knowledge, courage, and teamwork can overcome even the deadliest challenge. Over the next hours, the humans taught the aliens how they built defenses that blended naturally into the environment, traps that were safe yet effective, and communication methods that worked without relying on technology. The aliens realized that these people had thrived for generations in conditions that no other species could endure. One of the humans demonstrated a method of predicting predator patterns using a combination of observation and environmental cues. The aliens marveled as creatures that had once seemed uncontrollable were now carefully monitored and understood. "You control the world itself," Lyra whispered. "You have turned a death world into a home." The human leader shook his head. "We do not control, we adapt. We observe, we plan. That is the difference between surviving and merely existing." Jur, finally recognizing the magnitude of their achievement, spoke aloud. "You have taught us more in these days than all our prior expeditions combined. You are not weak, not fragile, but formidable." The humans nodded. "And yet we are open to alliances. But only with respect, only with understanding. We survive not as subordinates, but as equals." Over the next few days, humans and aliens worked together. The humans shared their methods for resource gathering, navigation, and environmental management. The aliens contributed knowledge of space travel, advanced materials, and energy systems. Through this exchange, both species learned and grew, combining the strength of survival with the power of technology. One day, as a massive storm swept across the cliffs, the aliens were struck by the humans' calm. While the storm uprooted trees and flooded lowlands, the humans moved with efficiency. Elevated shelters protected the vulnerable, alarms guided patrols, and water channels redirected flooding away from critical areas. Every decision reflected generations of experience in hostile conditions. Lyra turned to Jir. "They remain calm under threats that would paralyze even our best soldiers." "They are remarkable," Jir nodded. "They survive because they adapt, because they anticipate, and because they work together. That is the true lesson of Zithara 9. Later, at a meeting between human and alien leaders, Jir extended a hand in genuine respect. "You have proven yourselves beyond any expectation. We came to rescue. Instead, we have learned. Humanity is a species the galaxy must respect." The human leader shook the offered hand firmly. "We are not merely survivors. We are adaptable, intelligent, and united. We will accept allies, but never subordination. Remember that." That day marked a turning point. The aliens departed with a newfound respect for humans, understanding that underestimating a death worlder was a grave mistake. Humanity had survived, adapted, and thrived against all odds, and now they had the galaxy's attention. As the alien ship ascended into orbit, the human leader stood on the cliffs, watching the stars. "They came expecting weakness," he said softly. "They found strength. They will not forget it. And neither will the galaxy. The settlement buzzed with activity. Children trained under watchful eyes. Adults maintained defenses, and the elders taught the history of survival and resilience. Every person understood the value of unity, courage, and intelligence. Gir, observing from orbit, sent a communication to the galaxy. The humans of Zithera 9 are not to be underestimated. They survive where others perish. They think, they adapt, and they unite. Any who judge them by appearances alone will find themselves humbled. Below, humans watched the alien ship disappear into the stars. Their expressions were calm, confident, and determined. They had proven once again that survival on a death world was not about fear or strength alone. It was about intelligence, courage, and unity. Weeks later, humans and aliens began collaborating more formally. The humans offered insights into dangerous planets, survival techniques, and adaptive strategies. The aliens shared technology, information, and the ability to traverse the stars. Both species grew stronger, not because one dominated the other, but because they respected and learned from one another. In the forests of Zithera 9, predators moved freely but carefully, aware of humans' presence. Streams ran clear, traps were effective but non-lethal, and the settlement thrived in balance with its harsh environment. Humanity had once again shown that even the deadliest worlds could be tamed by knowledge, courage, and unity, and in the quiet of night, when the stars shone brightly above jagged mountains, the human leader whispered to his team, "The galaxy underestimated us, but now they know. We are Deathworlders. We survive, we thrive, and no one will forget it." The HFY message was clear. Humanity was not fragile. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was resilient, intelligent, and courageous, capable of surviving the impossible and earning the respect of the stars themselves. The galaxy would never forget Zithera 9, nor the humans who called it home. And the universe, vast and unpredictable, had learned a lesson that would echo through every system. Never underestimate the Deathworlders. The stars continued to shine, silent witnesses to a species that had conquered survival itself, proving once and for all that intelligence, courage, and unity were humanity's greatest weapons.